won New Hampshire 3 times now. Three. We win it every time. We win the primary. We win the generals. This is not your typical victory speech, but let's not have somebody take a victory when she had a very bad night.
I mean, I was surprised, honestly, at the number of, again, Nikki Haley voters who were saying they could vote for Biden instead of him. I think the difference from the past is there is a solid bunch of people who still want to be Republicans and still want to call themselves conservatives and still want to make it that Mike Johnson isn't the problem and Mitch McConnell isn't the problem and Ron DeSantis isn't the problem and on, when they're all the problem too. Trump just is the Pied Piper who's led them to a place of becoming an authoritarian party. He's led them to release their worst instincts. But there's a lot of those people who are just like, it's just Trump, he's crazy. We can, if we have to vote for a Democrat, we will. And then we'll come back to being good conservatives. I think, that you've got more Republicans like Kinzinger and Liz Cheney and people speaking out and saying Trump's a danger to the Republic.
I think Donald Trump is the single most dangerous threat we face.
Well, yeah, everyone from Liz Cheney to Bernie Sanders, who just said he's urging his fellow Americans to get behind Joe Biden to save the country. He said it'll be the end of democracy, functional democracy. There's a lot of personal bitterness of Trump. He's a bitter man, having gone through 4 indictments, humiliated. He's going to take it out on his enemies. We've got to explain to the American people what it means to them, the collapse of American democracy, what it will mean to all of us. He said, I don't believe all of Trump's supporters are racist or sexist or homophobes. I think what's going on in this country is a belief the government is failing ordinary Americans. Trump comes along and says, I'll be your strong guy. I'll deal with your anxieties, immigration, transgender issues, race. I'll be there for you. I mean, it was startling. There was one Iowa supporter that's like, he's gone through so much for us. We have to be there for him. And I'm like, literally a 91 count indicted felon did not do any of it for you.
No. He's done a lot of things. You know what I mean? He's 91 indictments. He poops his diaper a lot, but none of these are things he's doing for you. He's doing them for him.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Okay.
By the way, I think we missed the whole Trump is smelly meme over the holidays, but I thought that kind of goes without saying.
On your show around that time because I have a feeling we could have had fun with that.
Yeah.
It's all good.
That's not really new news that Trump is smelly, but okay. Noel Castler's been telling us that forever. But, speaking of Trump supporters, though, Cliff, I get it that we have to keep reminding ourselves what a tiny sliver of the electorate we were watching last night is, but
yeah.
One supporter of Trump hinted to The Atlantic, I don't know if you saw this, that she believes pro-MAGA elements within the United States military will rise up to help him become president again. The percentage that are okay with dictatorship, authoritarianism, doing whatever it takes for Trump to be back in office. A woman named Chris, you know her.
Sure.
She said
she's good.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
Sounds like a nice name.
She said she believed the 2020 election was stolen. Trump was covertly working with the American military to ensure it doesn't happen again in 2024. I think behind the scenes, he maybe is doing a little more than what we know about. He said, military-wise, the military is supposed to be for the people against tyrannical governments. I hope he's guiding the military to be able to step in and do what they need to do, because right now, I'd say the government's very tyrannical. She writes, she said the Trump sympathetic elements of the military might need to seize control should the Democrats steal the 2024 election. So there's some portion that's fine with that, using the military to get whoever. Right. Yeah.
And the thing is, look, there's a certain number of them, and often you'll see in democracies up to about a third. You've seen in other democracies will support an outright authoritarian because, again, everything you said, he's going to solve their problems. He's going to help them. He's standing up for them. They're the stupidest, weakest minded people, and they fall for all these promises.
Please, President Trump, please, I hope you have a plan.
There's some small percent that just want tax cuts and couldn't give a damn about anything else. It's that other sort of 15%, 12% who, most of whom we need to reach. Who the Republicans do a masterful job with their big propaganda machine of saying, Trump is this, Trump is that, Trump's horrible, Trump, you may not like Trump, but Joe Biden is blah, 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 blah. And so they get these people to say, I may not like Trump, and yeah, he may be a criminal, but he's better than the other guy. Those are the people we have to win. Those are the people we have to not allow to get propagandized, because we're never going to win, the Hale-Bopp comet people, the third, the ones that are castrating themselves to go up to the spaceship with Trump.
Right.
We're not going to win them. Somebody tweeted out something the other day, and somebody was giving a theory about that, how I think Joe Biden's been played by an actor the last 15 years. It's not really him.
I know. I thought Obama was in charge of the military, so I'm confused.
I am too. And somebody tweeted out and was like, we need to have a serious conversation in this country about core supporters of Trump and their mental health. And it's true. I mean, he's sort of pulled together like all of them, those who have the worst conspiracies, the weakest sort of mental health, it seems, in terms of paranoia, conspiracies, have joined in behind him.
Can you prove any of this?
Absolutely not.
That's not as unusual in a democracy. The unusual part is our failing media, their huge propaganda machine they've got out there already, and the fact that they can convince enough people to say, well, I hate Trump, but the other guy's worse. Those are the people we need to be reaching out to and making sure they know every day that Trump's going to be a dictator. His own people are saying he's going to be a dictator, that he's taken away women's personal rights, so women are dying. Yeah. And then he's he's a lunatic.
And also, Cliff, as Democrats, I think we need to make the larger case that there is no sane Republican Party anymore. We played some sound from Joni Ernst. Anyone that's even considered to be, moderate or sane. I mean, she's talked about how despicable it is that Trump is calling the January 6th terrorists hostages, being that there are actual American hostages being held right now and tortured by Hamas. But she said, but if he pardons them, that's okay. That's his,
Yeah.
I mean,
that's his prerogative.
Sums up the Republican Party. No principle at all.
No, that is, you're right. That is the embodiment of who they are, which is what he said is terrible. It's horrible. He's a threat. Would you vote for him? Well, yeah. I mean, if he's the Republican nominee, isn't that what that?
Johnson Sununu. I'm Johnson.
I was going to say. Yep. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, Seth.
Oh no. Trump doubled down on the calling free the J6 hostages. He implied the pro-Palestinian demonstrators who rallied outside the White House were just as bad as the MAGA rioters who broke into the Capitol. Yeah. He said, so interesting to watch anti-Israel protesters violently demonstrating at the White House. Not violent, but okay. Getting close to tearing down the fences that protect the president. Nothing's even mentioned about it in the mainstream media, which is merely a subsidiary of the Democrat Party. No arrest, no nothing. Free the J6 hostages.
Oh, boy.
Listen, there have been some. I'm no fan of some of the anti-Semitic protests going on, and I'm not talking about legitimate protests and people expressing their opinions. Some of that, but to compare any of that, I am not aware of anything at this point where they have broken into the Capitol, beaten, stabbed, stomped, kicked, gouged, and killed a couple of police officers, have gotten so far into the halls of Congress that Republicans even are calling their families to say, this might be the last time I talk to you, which then, of course, they all lie about later, and having to run for their lives. No Free Palestine protesters have done that. So, again, he's making stupid comparisons. And the worst part of all of it is he and they are normalizing these people, taking these traitors, these criminals, these people, one of whom was wearing a Camp Auschwitz T-shirt, as I remember, or sweatshirt, and other things like that, and they're making them into some sort of heroes or patriots. No, they are in our history. They're with Jefferson Davis. They're with the Shays Rebellion that had to be put down. They are in our history the horrible people that rise up and kill innocent people that need to be dealt with. And thankfully they have been dealt with.
Yeah.
They're being sent to prison one after another. But why don't we get some members of Congress who help conspire with them to go to prison too?
Yeah.
How about that?
By the way, Cliff, the Middle East politics, as you know, is very scrambled. I had JoJo from Jersey on yesterday, who is part Lebanese, and somebody tweeted that I need to get her to condemn Hamas as a Jew myself. I was like, okay, she has condemned Hamas, and also I'm not Jewish, but okay. Also WTF. But